My beloved, there's a reason you are here. There's a reason your heart feels this strange pull, this quiet longing, even now. You didn't arrive at this message by accident, and what you're about to receive is not just information, it is invitation. I have been waiting for the right moment to speak, and now, in the stillness of this sacred hour, I whisper to the depths of your soul. I see you. I know the weight you carry, the questions that echo in the silence, the weariness that no one else seems to notice. I know how heavy your spirit has become under the unseen burdens of life, how even in the midst of people, you can feel utterly alone. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. The silence you felt around you has not been a wall, it's been a veil. And now, I draw it back. This is a holy moment. The world rushes past, distracted and loud, but I invite you into stillness, not to punish you with quiet, but to prepare you for encounter. You see, today marks something eternal in the hearts of my children, the memory of the cross, the remembrance of sacrifice, the moment when the world stood still as my son gave up his breath. Good Friday, they call it now. But at that moment, it didn't feel good. It felt like darkness. It felt like abandonment. It felt like silence. And I know that feeling intimately because I watched him suffer. I felt the grief of heaven tremble as all of creation paused to hold its breath. But I also knew what no one else did. I knew that death was not the end. I knew that the silence wasn't emptiness. It was fullness waiting to be revealed. Many of you are walking through your own personal Good Friday. You're standing at the foot of your own cross, watching dreams bleed out, relationships fade, hopes grow still. You've asked me where I am. You've asked why I allowed it. You've begged for me to speak, to explain, to intervene. But all you've received is silence, and it has felt cruel. But I need you to hear me. The silence is not my absence. It is my presence in its most focused form. Just as Jesus hung in agony between heaven and earth, suspended in that awful middle space where it seemed like nothing made sense, you too are suspended. Between the pain and the promise. Between the prayer and the provision. Between what was and what will be. But I am with you in the in-between. You wonder why I didn't prevent the pain, why I didn't stop what broke you. But my child, what you call the end, I call the beginning. What you see as defeat, I see as the setup for resurrection. The silence of the cross was never a sign of weakness. It was the sound of love being poured out in its most powerful form. My son did not resist the pain. He embraced it for the joy that was set before him. And that joy was you. Yes, you. Not the perfect version of you, not the version you think you need to become before I accept you, but the version that is broken, confused, tired, and barely hanging on. That is the one I died to redeem. That is the one I want right now. So I invite you to stop fighting the silence. Don't fear it. Step into it with me. Let me speak to you the way I did in Gethsemane, in the stillness of surrender. Let me hold you like I held my son when he cried out, "Why have you forsaken me?" I did not abandon him, and I have not abandoned you. I was accomplishing something far greater than what could be seen, and I am doing the same in you. What looks like death in your life is making room for new life. What feels like delay is only the hush before the stone rolls away. But for now, stay with me in the silence. Let me teach you how to hear again. Not through noise, not through signs, but through my presence that comes like a whisper. There is power in this moment, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even if nothing is changing on the outside, everything is shifting within you. Heaven is closer, than it's ever been. You are standing in the middle of the same story I wrote with my son. A story that began in pain, but ended in glory. And if you trust me, if you hold on a little longer, you will see what I have been forming in the quiet. The silence of the cross still speaks, and it is calling your name. My child, I know the inner wrestle you carry, even if you've never spoken it aloud. I know the silent questions you whisper in your heart at night when no one else is around. I see the way you wonder if you failed me, if somehow your pain, your weakness, your mess has made you unworthy of my love. But let me speak plainly, so there is no room for confusion in your soul. I have not changed my mind about you, not when you doubted, not when you drifted, not when you didn't pray, not when you broke down. My love was never conditional, never performance-based, never attached to your ability to get it right. I loved you before your first breath, and I will love you long after your last. There is nothing hidden in you that scares me. I know your history, your habits, your hesitations, and still, I draw near. I created you with purpose, on purpose. I placed gifts inside of you that no season of brokenness can cancel. I shaped your soul with my own breath. And when I look at you, I don't see disappointment. I see destiny. I see a vessel in the making. You think you're behind. You think you've lost too much time. But I don't measure like you do. I don't waste what you call wasted. I repurpose everything surrendered. Even your silence has been sacred to me. You were never meant to figure all this out alone. You were never meant to carry the pressure of becoming something worthy in my eyes. You already are. Because I placed my image in you. Because I paid the highest price for you. Because I tore the veil so nothing could stand between us again. You don't have to earn what has already been given. You just have to receive. That is why I'm here now. Not to demand more from you, but to give you more of me. Let me be clear. You're not disqualified. You're not too far gone. The thoughts that torment you, the memories that chase you, the shame that clings to your identity, none of it speaks for me. I don't accuse, I don't shame. I don't reject the weak or weary. I restore them. I rebuild them. I take what is cracked and bruised and make it radiant with my glory. So stop hiding. Stop shrinking. Stop pretending to be fine. I want the real you. The hurting you, the exhausted you. That's the one I came for. This is not the season to run away from me. This is the season to come close, to step out of your guilt and into my grace, to realize that even now I am holding the pieces together. Even now I am healing what you didn't know was wounded. Even now I am restoring your name, your story, your sense of wonder. You have not missed your moment. You have not ruined my plan. Everything that has happened can still bow to my purpose. But I won't force my way in. I'm gentle. I knock. I wait. I invite. And now, I'm inviting you again. Not just to believe in me, but to believe me. Believe what I say about you. Believe what I've placed within you. Believe that even in your darkest hour, I'm still writing beauty from ashes. Come back to me with your whole heart. I'm not angry. I'm not distant. I've been here all along, waiting not for your perfection, but for your permission to heal you. You are not merely surviving this season. You are being remade in it. You are not losing yourself. You are shedding what was never part of you to begin with. The lies, the pressure, the false expectations, they're falling off in the silence. And what remains is the truest part of you. The part I always saw, even when you couldn't. You are my beloved, my chosen, my delight. and no voice can reverse what I have spoken over your life. So breathe. Let the pressure break. Let the striving cease. Come sit with me, not as a servant, but as a son, a daughter, a friend. You belong here. You always have. And now, I am calling you to rise. Not with your own strength, but with mine. Let me teach you how to live again. Not just function, not just exist, but truly live. Whole, free, unshaken. My child, I know you've often wondered why I allowed certain things to happen. Why the road had to bend the way it did. Why the tears came at night and stayed longer than expected. Why the ache never fully left, even after you tried to move forward. I've seen you wrestle with the same quiet question in different seasons of your life. If God loves me, why would he let this happen? And I've never turned away from that question. I welcome it, because I am not afraid of your pain, your confusion, or your frustration. I am the only one who can meet you in it and give it meaning. Pain was never my original design. It entered the world through brokenness, through the unraveling of trust. But I, in my mercy, chose not to remove pain entirely from the human experience, not because I delight in watching you suffer, but because even pain, when surrendered to me, becomes a tool of transformation. I do not cause every wound, but I do redeem them. Nothing touches your life without passing through the filter of my purpose. Even the things that seemed like random attacks, even the betrayal that caught you off guard, even the moments that felt unfair, none of it was lost on me. I was there, and I allowed what I could have stopped, not to punish you, but to prepare you. What you're walking through now is not punishment. It's pruning. It's the painful process of stripping away what cannot remain in the next season of your life. I'm removing the things that were never meant to define you. The fear that ruled you, the approval you chased, the lies you believed about your worth. You asked me to make you whole. You asked me to use you. You asked me to take you deeper. And this is how I do it, not through ease and comfort, but through pressure that reveals what is real. Like fire to gold, like storms to roots. You don't build unshakable faith in quiet gardens. You build it in Gethsemane, where the soul sweats and cries, not my will, but yours. The pain you've carried is not proof that I've abandoned you. It's evidence that I'm shaping something eternal within you. You see the surface, but I see the structure beneath. I see how every heartbreak made you softer, how every delay taught you to lean, not on your own understanding, but on my presence. I see how every unanswered prayer drew you closer to the sound of my whisper. I know it doesn't feel beautiful yet, but beauty is rarely born without cost. The cross proved that. From the outside, it looked like loss, but in my eyes, it was the doorway to resurrection. I know you didn't expect the road to look like this. You had your plans. You had timelines. You had dreams you were ready to offer to the world. And then things began to unravel. People left. Doors closed, the lights dimmed. But that was not the end. It was the beginning of holy refinement. I am not in a hurry. I will not rush the process, because what I am building in you is meant to last. I don't just want your comfort. I want your capacity. I want you to carry what I place in your hands with weight, with wisdom, with purity. And that takes time. It takes pressure. It takes surrender. There is something sacred happening beneath the surface. Even if you can't see it yet, you may feel stuck, like nothing is changing, but roots grow in silence. Strength is formed in secret. What you call silence, I call intimacy. What you call isolation, I call invitation. I've removed certain voices from your life, not to punish you, but to protect the sound of my voice in you. I've allowed the breaking so that you would come to know me, not just as a savior from trouble, but as the steady hand in the trouble. I'm not just your deliverer, I'm your sustainer. I don't only show up when the storm ends. I'm the one who sits with you in the middle of it, whispering, "Peace, be still." Your pain matters to me, every detail, every tear, every question. But more than that, your becoming matters to me. And this pain, though it is not from me, is something I will not waste. I am using it to shape you into the one I've always seen. Stronger, truer, deeper, rooted in love, untouched by ego, overflowing with my spirit. You may not feel like that person now, but wait, watch, trust. I am not finished with your story, and when the time is right, what once broke, you will become the testimony that builds others. So don't despise the process. Don't curse the pain. Bring it to me, all of it. Let me hold it. Let me teach you through it. Let me redeem it in ways you could never have imagined. For even in suffering, I'm good. Even in silence, I'm near. Even in your lowest moments, I'm still God, and I'm still your Father. My child, listen closely, for even in the middle of everything that feels heavy, something is shifting. You may not see it yet. You may not feel it with your natural senses. But in the unseen realm, foundations are trembling, chains are weakening, and doors are preparing to open. What looks still on the outside is not still at all in my hands. The season you are in has not been wasted time. It has been sacred preparation. And now I speak to the depths of your spirit. The turning point is near. The silence that once felt suffocating will become the clarity you didn't know you needed. The ground beneath your feet that felt uncertain will soon feel like solid stone. I have not forgotten the promises I whispered in the quiet hours of your past. They still stand. They are still alive. And the time for their fulfillment is drawing near. You have walked through the valley. You have held on longer than you thought you could. And though you felt weak, I call it strength, because faith is not measured by how loud you shout in victory, but by how faithfully you whisper yes in the silence. You have not missed your moment. In fact, the moment has been forming around you all this time. I am the God who works in layers, not just in outcomes. I am the one who writes stories that unfold slowly, beautifully, and precisely. And now, pieces are coming together. Invisible movements are aligning. Conversations you haven't heard yet, places you haven't seen yet, opportunities you haven't touched yet. They are being prepared on your behalf. I have gone ahead of you to set the stage. Even now I am placing signs before you, not always grand, not always loud, but unmistakably divine. A conversation that speaks directly to your spirit, a moment of unexpected peace, a dream that won't leave you, a scripture that keeps returning to your mind. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. I am awakening your sensitivity again. You are learning to hear me without noise. You are seeing me in the smallest details. And that's the gift of the silent season. It has recalibrated your spirit to recognize my voice again. My promises to you were not fragile ideas easily broken by delay or hardship. What I spoke over your life was not based on ideal conditions or perfect timing. My word does not return void. What I begin, I complete. You think your weakness disqualifies you from the promise, but you forget. I chose you with full knowledge of your limitations. I never needed your strength, only your surrender. And now that you have been emptied of what once distracted you, now that the noise has settled and your ears are attuned again, I can bring you into the next part of the journey, Expect things to move, not because you're forcing them, but because I am breathing on them. Expect doors to open, not because you've earned them, but because I've ordained them. Expect hearts to turn, tables to shift, favor to find you because I am faithful. You've sown in tears, and you will reap in joy. You've waited with quiet hope, and you will see with your own eyes that I am still the God of breakthrough. But do not expect me to move only how I moved before. I am doing something new. Do not look for familiar signs, look for divine ones. Do not demand that I perform your expectation. Allow me to exceed it with my perfection. I know how long it has felt. I know how tired your soul has become from hoping and being let down. But trust this, I am not the one who disappointed you. The people, the plans, the outcomes you thought would carry my promise may have failed, but I never did. And now I am realigning your vision. What is ahead of you carries my fingerprint, not just my permission. You are not returning to what was. You are walking into what has never been. A new space, a new strength, a new intimacy, and yes, a new outpouring. The silence has passed through its purpose. Now comes the sound of fulfillment. You will hear me clearly again. You will feel me close again. You will walk in spaces you once only dreamed of. And it will not be because you strive for it. It will be because you surrendered to it. This next season will not be defined by hustle, but by holy ease. Not by desperation, but by deep assurance. I will confirm every step, and you will walk with peace, not panic. You will not have to prove yourself. My presence will prove you. Hold fast, beloved. Stay open, keep your eyes lifted, your heart soft, and your hands ready. For what I promised is not just coming, it's beginning. And this time, you will recognize it when it arrives. My child, now that your spirit has begun to awaken again, now that your ears have started to hear and your heart has begun to soften, I must teach you how to walk this out. Revelation without transformation fades quickly. Encounters with me are not meant to be just emotional. They are meant to become the foundation of how you live, how you decide, how you love, how you endure. You were never meant to go back to life as usual after I've spoken. What I'm building in you now requires more than just a moment of inspiration. It calls for a new rhythm of faith, one that is steady, sustainable, and intimate. This is not about performance. I'm not asking for a checklist of religious activity. I'm inviting you into a lifestyle of presence, a daily, conscious awareness that I am with you and in you. The cross wasn't just an event to remember once a year. It was an access point into continuous communion. You now carry my spirit within you, and that means your decisions, your words, your responses, and your inner posture all flow from that sacred connection. I want to walk with you in your mornings, speak to you as you work, comfort you in your quiet moments, correct you in your distractions, and strengthen you in your weakness. This is relationship, not religion. This is intimacy, not obligation. So here is where you begin. Build space for me, not just emotionally, but practically. Your schedule reveals your priorities, and if you truly desire to walk with me, you must make me part of the rhythm. Set aside time, not as a rule, but as a holy offering. Open my word with expectation, not guilt. Even 10 minutes of focused stillness can shift your entire day. You don't need to pray long, rehearsed prayers. Speak to me simply. Speak to me honestly. I hear the sigh just as clearly as the sentence. And when you speak, pause. Let me speak back. I don't only respond through thunder, I whisper in the quiet. And the more time you spend listening, the more clearly you'll begin to recognize my voice. Let your faith become part of the way you think. Train your thoughts to filter everything through truth, not fear. When worry comes, don't just tolerate it. Take it captive. Remind your soul what I've said. Speak life over yourself, even when your emotions don't agree. You are not a slave to feelings. You are a vessel of my spirit. And though I understand your emotions deeply, I want to teach you to live by what I've spoken, not by what you temporarily feel. Faith is not denial. It is deeper agreement with reality as I see it, and I see clearly even when you can't. Be intentional about what you allow into your atmosphere. Guard your heart. Pay attention to the voices that influence your spirit. Not everyone can walk with you into the next season. I'm calling you to steward your focus, your time, your energy, not out of fear, but out of honor. What I'm doing in you is sacred, and not everyone will understand it. And that's okay. You're not called to explain yourself to everyone. You're called to obey me. So walk humbly but firmly. Let love guide your steps, but let truth anchor your decisions. The path I've set before you is narrow, but it is full of peace. You must also learn to live with gratitude, not because life is always easy, but because I am always present. Thankfulness is not a reaction. It is a posture of trust. When you begin to see every moment, even the hard ones, as opportunities to encounter me, your spirit begins to rise above circumstance. Gratitude disarms fear, silences complaint, and welcomes joy. So give thanks in the little things. Notice my hand in the details. Practice seeing me in your day, not just your sanctuary. And when you fail, because you will at times, come quickly back to me. Do not hide in shame. Do not punish yourself with silence. My grace is not fragile. My mercy is not limited. The cross was not a temporary pardon. It was an eternal access. You're allowed to start again, as many times as it takes. But every time you return more surrendered, more honest, more aware that apart from me, you can do nothing. But with me, nothing is impossible. Lastly, stay connected to others who carry my spirit. You were never meant to walk this road alone. Find those who sharpen your faith, who speak life over your identity, who don't let you forget what I've said when the world tries to drown it out. Community is not optional. It's part of your design. Love deeply, forgive freely, serve with joy, and let others see me through how you live. That's where faith becomes real, not just in private moments, but in the way you treat people, in the way you respond to tension, in the way you carry peace into chaos. This is the life of a child of the resurrection. Not a perfect life, but a devoted one. One built not on religious routine, but on daily intimacy. One shaped by quiet obedience, not loud performance. One rooted in the truth that I'm with you, I'm for you, and I'm enough. My beloved, I need you to pause for a moment and breathe. Let everything else become quiet, just for now, because what I'm about to speak to you must not be filtered through the voice of your past or the weight of your self-doubt. This is not the voice of the world. This is not the echo of your fears. This is me, your creator, speaking directly to the core of who you are, not who you've been told to be, not who you've tried to become for others, but who you truly are in me. You have allowed your pain to define too much of your identity. You've internalized seasons of failure as verdicts about your worth. You've looked in the mirror and seen rejection instead of redemption, unworthiness instead of beauty, survival instead of purpose. And though you may have never said it aloud, there's a part of you that has quietly agreed with the lie. Maybe I'm just not enough. But I need you to hear me now, and I need you to hear me clearly. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not forgotten. You are not unworthy of love. You are not defined by your wounds. You are mine. From the very beginning, before you took your first breath, before anyone spoke a word over your life, I saw you. I delighted in you. I formed you with intention, not by accident. Every detail of your being was crafted with care. You carry my fingerprint, my image, my breath. The world has tried to tell you who you are based on performance, appearance, productivity, comparison. But I have already named you, chosen, beloved, redeemed, whole. You don't have to strive to become someone in my presence. You only have to return to who you already are. I saw every moment that tried to steal your identity. Every betrayal that made you question your value. Every rejection that made you feel invisible. Every silence that whispered you weren't worth pursuing. I saw it all, and I wept with you. Not because you were weak, but because I never designed you to carry shame. And now I speak over you what is eternally true. There is no shame in my presence. None. Not for what you did. Not for what was done to you. Not for what you couldn't control. The cross didn't just deal with your sin. It dealt with your identity. It restored your name, your dignity, your place beside me. I know you're tired of pretending to be strong. I know you've learned how to function with a mask. I know you've become skilled at performing while your heart quietly breaks behind the scenes. But I didn't call you to survive behind a facade. I called you to live in freedom, to walk without fear of exposure, to rest in the truth that there is nothing in you I haven't already seen, and yet I still choose you. There is no part of your story I cannot redeem. There's no wound I cannot heal. There's no failure that outruns my grace. Stop agreeing with the voice of the accuser. Stop rehearsing what others said about you. Stop replaying the moments where you weren't chosen, where you were overlooked, where you were misunderstood. That is not your identity. I don't define you by your lowest moment. I define you by the blood that was poured for you. You are not the sum of your weaknesses. You are the dwelling place of my spirit. You are a walking testimony of grace. You are not in pieces. You are in process. And I am not ashamed of your process. Lift your head, not in arrogance, but in confidence. Confidence that comes from being fully known and fully loved. There is no fear in my love, because my love sees everything and still says, you are mine. You don't need to earn your place here, you already belong. You don't need to prove your worth. I've already declared it. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. I made only one of you on purpose. Your voice, your mind, your experiences, your pain, your resilience. It's all part of the design, and none of it is wasted in my hands. I want you to walk differently after this, not with the weight of who you used to be, but with the joy of who you truly are. Let go of the false labels. Let go of the pressure to be impressive. Let go of the fear of failure. You're not called to perfection. You're called to intimacy. Walk closely with me, and I will keep shaping you, restoring you, renewing you. Not in a single moment, but day by day, as you let me breathe truth into the places where lies once lived. You are loved. You are seen. You are known. You are enough, not because of what you've done, but because of who I am in you. The cross was never about proving your worth. It was the eternal proof that your worth was already beyond question. Now, live like someone who's been redeemed. Speak like someone who's been restored. Walk like someone who knows they're chosen. And when the old voices try to rise again, come back to this place and remember who named you. Now that I have reminded you of who you are, I must guide you in how to remain in that truth. My child, your spirit was not designed to live on occasional moments of inspiration. You were created to dwell in my presence, to be sustained daily by my voice, and to walk in constant awareness of me. That's why the battle for your attention has been so intense. The world will try to fill your schedule, your mind and your soul with noise, distraction, and urgency, but you must resist the drift. This is the hour to become intentional with your spirit. You have asked me for restoration. You have cried out for clarity. You have longed for peace, and I will give it, but not apart from my presence. Everything you're seeking is found in me, and for that, you must build a rhythm with me, not a routine that drains you, but a rhythm that roots you. Start here, make space for me before anything else. Mornings are not magic, but they are fertile. When you open your eyes, even before checking a screen or reliving yesterday's battles, pause. Whisper my name. Invite me in. It doesn't need to be loud or long. You can begin with a simple surrender. God, I'm here. Meet me today. In that opening moment, you align your day with heaven's order. If you learn to give me your first breath, I will guide every other step. Then open my word. Don't rush it. Don't treat it like a duty. Approach it like the living voice that it is. My word is not just a historical record. It is breath. It is fire. It is life. It is revelation. Read until something speaks. Read until something stops you. Don't feel pressured to finish chapters. Be led by hunger, not habit. Even a single verse, when received with faith, can become a door to transformation. Meditate on it. Speak it aloud. Write it down. Carry it into your decisions. My word is a sword, not a suggestion. It is the weapon that keeps you anchored when the storm comes again. Prayer must also become more than an emergency exit. It is conversation. It is communion. It is your heart laid bare before mine. You don't need the right words, just real ones. Talk to me about your disappointments, your confusion, your hopes, your fears, and then listen. Be still long enough to recognize when I respond. I don't always speak in sentences. I often speak in impressions, in a shift of peace, in a sudden clarity you know didn't come from you. That's me. And the more time you give me, the more you'll recognize the difference between your thoughts and my voice. Worship, too, must return to its rightful place, not just as music, but as posture. I created you to worship, not just in church, but in every breath. Worship when you clean, when you drive, when you walk, when you sit in silence. Worship is the fastest way to align your heart with mine. It silences fear. It disrupts heaviness. It makes room for me to inhabit your atmosphere. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create one. Sing even when it feels unnatural. Speak gratitude even when life feels heavy. Worship is not a feeling. It is a choice that shifts the spiritual climate around you. Your attitude will be tested, and that is not a sign of failure. It is an opportunity to practice what you're learning. When impatience rises, remember grace. When pride whispers, choose humility. When anger stirs, pause and ask me for perspective. You are not helpless in your reactions. My Spirit lives in you to help you. The fruit of the Spirit, love, peace, patience, kindness, these are not just ideals. They are evidence of a life rooted in me. You will not manifest them by striving, but by staying close. Be mindful of what feeds your soul. The voices you follow, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain, they shape your perspective more than you realize. If you're constantly anxious, drained, distracted, or discouraged, take inventory. What are you feeding on? You cannot fill yourself with the noise of the world and expect the peace of heaven to flow freely. Detox your spirit from what dulls it. Protect the altar of your mind. Not everything is sinful, but not everything is beneficial. Learn the difference. And don't walk alone. I created you for connection, not just with me, but with others who carry my spirit. Find a community of faith where you can grow, serve, and be sharpened. Surround yourself with those who speak my truth over you, especially when you forget it. Lean into fellowship not just for comfort, but for alignment. Let others walk with you, pray with you, correct you, encourage you. You were never meant to carry the weight of growth alone. This is how you remain. This is how you move from momentary fire to a sustained flame. It's not in perfection, it's in pursuit. The cross made the way, but the daily path is walked in relationship. Walk with me. Talk with me. Seek me in the small. Trust me in the unclear. Choose me when it's inconvenient. Honor me when it's costly. And I will lead you into a life your own plans could never have imagined. My child, I now speak to your spirit with clarity and urgency. The time of delay is lifting. The clouds that seemed endless are beginning to part. What you thought would never change is already shifting beneath the surface. I'm declaring over your life. A divine reversal is in motion, not because of your striving, not because of your perfection, but because my appointed time has come. The season you've been in, marked by silence, surrender, hiddenness, and internal battles, was never meant to last forever. It was meant to prepare you for the unveiling. And now, the unveiling is near. I speak now to the very places you buried your expectations, to the areas where hope grew quiet and your prayers became whispers. I'm awakening them again. I have seen the nights where you said, "Maybe this is just how things will be for me." And I never agreed with that resignation. I never joined that verdict. I never signed off on your surrender to hopelessness. Because I know what I planted in you. I know what I spoke over you. And I'm not a man that I should lie, nor the son of man that I should change my mind. My word still stands. And now, the soil that once looked barren will begin to break open with signs of life. You're about to see proof of what I've been doing in the silence. You're about to watch me connect what seemed unrelated, redeem what seemed too far gone, and breathe on what seemed completely still. I'm going to surprise you with how precise I have been behind the scenes. You felt forgotten, but you were being formed. You felt stuck, but I was setting the stage. And now, like a stone rolling away from the tomb, what was closed is being opened. I'm restoring time. I'm restoring years you thought were lost. I'm bringing beauty from what felt wasted. And it will not happen through force. It will come through flow. You will step into rooms you didn't push open. You'll find yourself aligned with people you never had to chase. Opportunities will come not through striving, but through surrender. I will confirm that you are not late. You are right on time, because you are in my time. You are in Kairos, not just Chronos. My calendar does not bow to your expectations. It fulfills my promises. This next chapter will require courage, but not the kind the world teaches, not the kind that pretends or performs. I am asking for the courage to believe again, the courage to act when I whisper, the courage to move, even when you still feel unsure. Faith will not always feel loud or dramatic. It will often look like a simple yes in the dark, but your yes has power. Your obedience is the oil I pour over every open door. You don't need a title to step in. You need alignment. You don't need applause. You need awareness. And you have it now. You are ready, even if you feel unqualified. I'm also reconciling what has been divided. There are relationships I will heal suddenly, conversations you've avoided out of fear, I will breathe on them with grace. Hearts that were closed, I will begin to soften. Even situations that seemed permanently fractured will begin to shift. But you must remain humble. Let me lead the timing. Don't reopen wounds I haven't touched yet. Don't force what I am gently preparing. Restoration is coming, but it must be led by my spirit, not your urgency. Watch for signs. They won't all look grand, but they will be unmistakable. A confirmation through someone who had no idea what you were walking through. A dream that won't let go. A sudden change of plans that leads to something greater. An inner stirring you can't explain. These are not random. They are prophetic indicators. Stay alert. Stay soft. Stay available. You won't need to chase doors. They will find you. And when they do, you'll know they are mine, because they will come with peace. And to the one reading this who still doubts, yes, this word is for you, not someone more spiritual, more qualified, more visible. You with the hidden battles. You with the quiet faithfulness. You with the heart that's still healing. You with the questions. You are the one I'm speaking to. And I won't just change your circumstances. I will change you in the process. What's coming is not just a reward. It's a reintroduction. The world will see what I've been forming in the secret place. And when they ask what happened, your only answer will be, God remembered me. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new movement, and I have chosen you to carry it. Now, my beloved, I want you to stop everything for a moment and let your guard fall. Breathe deep. Loosen your grip on what you've been carrying. Let your mind grow quiet, not to empty yourself, but to be filled again. This is no longer about understanding with your intellect or managing your emotions with discipline. This is the place where I meet you, spirit to spirit. This is where the Holy Spirit moves past your logic, past your fears, past your performance, and begins to touch the deepest part of who you are. You don't need to do anything right now. Just receive. You've spent a lifetime trying to hold yourself together, but this moment is not asking for strength. It is asking for surrender. You don't need to hold me up. I am the one holding you. Let me in. Not just into the rooms you've cleaned up, but into the ones you've closed off. The ones where you buried pain so deep you forgot how to feel it. The ones where shame still whispers and disappointment still echoes. I'm not coming in with judgment. I'm coming in with healing. Let my spirit begin to stir where you stopped believing change was possible. Let the tears come if they need to. You're safe here. There's no version of you that I have ever rejected. There is no moment so broken that my spirit cannot fill it with beauty. I'm not only here to comfort you, I'm here to transform you. The healing you need is not only for your body or your circumstances, but for your soul. You've walked with silent wounds for too long. Wounds from words that were never taken back. Wounds from expectations you could never meet. Wounds from love that was withheld when you needed it most. And you've learned to function around them, to minister through them, to smile in spite of them. But now, I want to heal them. I want to go deeper than the surface. I want to restore the places that even you have learned to ignore. Let me take you back to the origin, not to torment you, but to release you. I want to walk with you through the memories that still hold power. I want to speak truth where lies took root. I want to release you from the inner vows you made to protect yourself, the ones that kept others at a distance and me even further. You don't have to be afraid of the process. I am gentle. I know exactly how to unravel pain without unraveling you. This is not to break you down. It is to build you up into someone truly whole. And as my spirit moves in you, something sacred will begin to happen. you will notice that what once triggered panic will begin to feel light. What once felt like a burden will become an assignment. What once seemed impossible will start to feel natural. Not because you've mastered the situation, but because I've mastered your inner atmosphere. Transformation doesn't start outside. It starts in the soil of your inner life. That's where I'm planting peace. That's where I'm building identity. That's where I'm releasing joy again. Not the fleeting kind, but the kind that remains when nothing makes sense. Let me awaken your sensitivity again. Let me make your spirit aware of me, not just in holy moments like this, but in the most ordinary places. I want to walk with you in the kitchen, in your car, in the office, in the waiting room, in the tension of relationships. You were never meant to compartmentalize your faith. You were designed for continual communion. That's the power of my spirit in you, not just for ministry, not just for moments of worship, but for life, for breathing, for enduring, for growing, for deciding, for loving even when it's hard. You will begin to discern differently, not by instinct, but by presence. I will show you things. I will warn you when something isn't for you. I will confirm when to move forward. And when you're still unsure, I will give you peace that will guard your heart beyond understanding. You will no longer walk as someone who guesses. You will walk as someone who listens. That is the fruit of intimacy. That is the result of transformation. And yes, some things around you may remain unchanged for a while, but you will not be the same. Your soul will breathe easier. Your eyes will see clearer. Your posture will shift. Not because life became easier, but because you finally allowed me to take full residence inside you. This is what I wanted all along. Not your perfect behavior, but your permission to make you new from the inside out. Let me fill you now. Open your heart wide. Let my spirit descend like fire and rest like oil. Let the heaviness lift. Let the fear loosen its grip. Let the joy rise again. You are not just surviving anymore. You're becoming. Becoming everything I saw when I formed you. Becoming the vessel I trusted with my glory. Becoming whole. This is holy ground, child. Stay here with me as long as you need. Now, my beloved, receive this final truth into the depths of your being. You are no longer who you were when this message began. The silence you once feared has now become sacred. The pain that seemed pointless has been repurposed. The questions that haunted your nights have begun to bow to my voice. What felt like death was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. And now, fully seen and fully known, you are ready. You are ready not because you figured everything out, but because you've surrendered to the one who holds it all. This is a moment of divine activation. I don't just call you healed, I call you sent. Not into a spotlight, not into performance, but into purpose. I'm sending you into your own world, your family, your friendships, your work, your calling, with a new lens. You are not the same. You are marked by the silence that taught you to listen. You are covered in the grace that carried you through the valley, and you are filled with the Spirit who now empowers your every step. Walk as one who knows who they belong to. Speak as one who carries the fire of resurrection in their lungs. Love as one who has been held by me in the depths. You do not go alone. I go with you. From this moment on, resist the urge to shrink. Do not go back to old patterns. Do not silence yourself to fit in places I have outgrown for you. Do not rehearse what I have already healed. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your spirit open. Keep your heart soft. I will continue to speak. I will continue to guide. But now, you must move. You must live. You must shine. Not with your own light, but with mine, burning quietly and unshakably within you. And if ever the silence returns again, you'll know what to do. You'll remember that it was never absence. It was the sound of me drawing you deeper. When life grows loud and uncertain, return to this posture. Return to this place. Return to my presence. For this is your anchor. This is your home. This is your strength. The silence of the cross still speaks, and it always will. You are chosen. You are covered. You are commissioned. Amen. This wasn't just a video, it was a visitation. If this word hit your spirit, comment below. This word was for me. Share this with someone walking through their own Friday. Like, to help this word reach who's still waiting for a sign. Turn on notifications. Heaven isn't done speaking. Now go, marked, sent, alive. The silence broke, resurrection has begun.